Well, folks, it's finally here. The Razorback baseball team will be facing off against North Carolina in the Super Regionals. I'm live here in Chapel Hill. So let's go ahead and break it down and talk about the Razorbacks' chances of moving on to Omaha for the College World Series here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Out of Bounds. You can catch every weekday afternoon from 1 to 4 on 103.7 The Buzz and 103.7thebuzz.com. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Head over to betonline.net where the game starts. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Friday. I didn't get through a podcast yesterday. It was like travel, and I was tired. I was so tired. But we're making it work. We're making it possible here. And I know that there's a lot of craziness going on, especially with Razorback baseball right now. And that's kind of what I'm going to do a little preview on and trying to make it all possible. And if you're wondering, if you're watching this on YouTube, you see me holding a microphone. The hotel that I have and the desk that I have, it's a little snug. So I'm not really having a place to like set a microphone and to have a camera and all that. So I feel like I'm like somebody who's on the scene talking about stuff that's going on right behind me. I feel like I'm a big time news like reporter or something like that. So anyways, I'm holding a microphone like a jackhole. So just get over it. Like audio's fine. You guys don't need to care about it, but the video, just let me be me. All right. Let me do my thing. So anyways, Arkansas and North Carolina this weekend in the best of three. We know it's a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, if necessary, series, which honestly is, a little different than probably what most people are used to. I think the weather is going to hold out great, and it looks like it's going to be a nice weekend here in Chapel Hill. Especially Monday is going to be a brutally hot game. So if they end up playing on Monday, I really hope that it ends up being a thing where it's not like so hot that it's so miserable and everything in the middle of the day, because I don't know when they're going to play that game. Could be at night, could be in the middle of the day. But we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, Arkansas is looking to try to take their 11th trip to Omaha for the College World Series. And it would be Dave Van Horn's 7th appearance in the College World. And honestly, it's the stretch that Arkansas has been on when it comes to the way that they've been able to put things together for a few years now. I mean, just dating back to like 2018, we know what happened there. College World Series runner-ups. 2019, you go to the College World Series. 2020, season got canceled, but that was a College World Series worthy team, especially led by Kershad. Could have been there. 2021, they didn't get to Omaha, but for the entire season, they were the best team in college baseball, and they were really close to going back to Omaha. And then you have this year where they have another opportunity. So it's incredible the run that they've been on, where basically the Super Regionals is the minimum. And I'm not saying that should be the expectation, but that's what it's become, because of the job that Dave Van Horn has done with this team and everything. So, but the thing is that this is going to be about the matchups that we see from Arkansas. And a lot of people are probably wondering, it's like, okay, well, North Carolina is really good. So how are you feeling, John? I've gotten that question a lot. And, how are you feeling about this series? Do you feel like Arkansas is going to win? Do you feel like they're the better team? And, to be honest, at this point in time in Super Regionals, especially after what happened last year, I'm never going to give any guarantees or say I feel great about anything. Even if Arkansas is like far and away a better team than somebody that they're playing, I'm not still going to feel good about it, because we know baseball's crazy. Like Arkansas swept LSU this year, and LSU was a really good baseball team. But Arkansas also lost a series to Alabama, and Alabama wasn't that good. So things happen. Baseball happens. But now that you're in the postseason, this is where it all comes down to being the most important, is what you do now, what you do in postseason, and how you get ready for each and every matchup that you're going to have. In this case, for Arkansas, I'm telling you, it's incredible to me to see how this team has just really come together and is playing so much better now than what they were just a few weeks ago. Which, say what you want, but the team wasn't playing well. They just weren't. And even though they lost some games or a game in the Stillwater Regional, people got to understand. You all have to understand. You can talk about, look how many runs they gave up, or look at this, look at that. Guys, Oklahoma State was the best team that Arkansas has played this year so far. Like Dave Van Horn even said that after the game. He's like, that was the best team we faced, and they won. It doesn't matter how they won. Doesn't matter what the scores were. Doesn't matter who did what or who played bad, who played great. Does not matter. They won. And that's what you all want. That's what you always want, is for the team to win. And so now you're going up against the North Carolina team, and the question becomes is, how do you feel about them winning? How do you feel about them being able to get it together? So, that's going to be the ultimate question. And to me, honestly, I believe that with what they're trying to do, not only as a team right now, but also what they're trying to do as a team going forward, is the fact that there were certain guys that needed to step up. There were certain players that needed to step up and start really showcasing the ability that we know that they're capable of, and they started to do that. I think that the confidence that the team got from that regional heading into the super regional is what's going to be the difference, and that's what I feel really good about Arkansas' chances. Like the way Peyton Stovall played. I mean, that's my guy. I mean, I love Peyton Stovall, but him having 2 huge RBIs in that game on Monday night as a freshman, and also had some great defensive plays too. Going to be a confidence for somebody like Peyton Stovall, who you haven't really had to, lean on or anything, but now you can. He's performing that well. You think about Hagen Smith and the job he did coming in. He hadn't had a great outing in a while, but to get that type of situation and to throw the way he did and basically get out we all know about, that's a confidence booster. Jalen Battles had some great plays. That grand slam that he had. I mean, that's just the type of thing that's going to get you going. Bob Moore hitting a few home runs. Guys that you really didn't know where their mindset was. You didn't know what you were looking at really with how good they were, how good they weren't, or whatever it may be. You were just kind of waiting on it, and now you're starting to see it all come to fruition. So I believe that if you're going to look for any reason to think that Arkansas is going to win this series and to think that they're going to move on to Omaha for the College World Series, I think it's as simple as this. If Arkansas plays like they did this past Monday night, twice, they need 2 of those games, they will win. Because this team, talent-wise, is as good as anybody in the country. Now, are there as many draft picks as teams in Tennessee? I'm not saying they would. But I am saying that if we all know what it takes to, well, not everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what it takes to win a championship. You got to have great players, you got to have great coaching, and you have to have great luck. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Great coaching, great players, and great luck. Arkansas has great players. Like, they have really talented players. We know it's there. And we also know that Arkansas has some great coaching. Dave Van Horn's one of the best coaches in the country. But the great luck part of it, that's really where things are going to have to come into play for this team. That's really where things are going to have to be put in a position to make it work, to where, again, I'm not saying that what happened on Monday night was luck, but you had some things go your way. That play that Caden Wallace made with his bare hands and tossing it over the first. Was that a lucky play? I mean, a little bit, yeah. I mean, it was an incredible play. But that's just something where everything just works out perfectly, and you get out of the inning. The same thing with the pickoff throw from Turner to Stovall at first. In that replay that happened, like that was a huge play. Or the throw to on the bunt when the bases were loaded to throw it to second to get the guy out was huge. Like all those plays, again, I'm not trying to say luck isn't taking away anything from the players, but it is luck where you have some of those things go your way. All those things got to manifest for Arkansas to win a national championship. And I think that they have the capability of doing it. It's just a matter of, can they keep it rolling? Can they keep it going? That's going to be the biggest key. We'll continue to talk about this, though, here in just a segment. First, BetOnline.net is your number one source for all of your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, news and odds, including this year's basketball championship matchup, the NHL hockey playoffs, Major League Baseball, and, of course, all the latest fighting news from the MMA and UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. So head to the website today, or you use your mobile device to sign up to hit all the trends and actions at betonline.net, where the game starts. This episode is also brought to you by rockauto.com. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models, it's impossible to find all the car parts that you will need for your vehicle. That's why rockauto.com takes care of business and gets you the best service and all the best parts that you possibly need. You can save time and you can save money. It's a family business that's been serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years, and they have prices that are reliably low for everybody. So go and explore their easy-to-use website today to find a solution for all of your auto part needs at rockauto.com and see the parts available for your car or truck. And be sure to write Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so that they know that we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, are all the car parts you'll ever need at rockauto.com.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, continuing our discussion and talking about North Carolina and, the team that they are. Let's just be honest about it, because I know a lot of you probably don't know, like me, because I don't know much about North Carolina. I will be fully honest. I did not watch a single second or an inning or an out or a strike of North Carolina baseball this regular season. I did see a little bit of them when they were in their regional, just because you were trying to focus on it to see, hey, if Arkansas wins in Stillwater, what are the chances that maybe they could be the host of the Supers if Georgia or VCU ended up winning? Well, they didn't. But here's the thing about North Carolina that it is nerve-wracking, because if you remember last year when Arkansas played NC State, Arkansas was the favorite to win it all. We all know that they were. But when they faced NC State was one of the hottest teams in the country. I think when they entered into that super regional, they had won something like 22 of their last 24 or something like that. It was a lot of games, and they really got hot. And I still believe, and people can disagree, I still believe that if North Carolina State didn't have that BS COVID thing happen last year in the College World Series, I think they would have won the College World Series. Not to say that Mississippi State didn't deserve it, because we won't get into that. But I still think they were the best team in the country at the time in the postseason. I still think they would have won it if the COVID stuff hadn't gone down. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The reason I bring that up is because North Carolina is a little bit similar, because North Carolina did not do very well to start ACC play. They went 8-13 to start, and then boom, just the turnaround happened, and they won 20 of their last 23 games. That's a lot. That's pretty insane. And I just see all that, and I'm like, oh gosh, it's like deja vu all over again for what this deal is. So that's the one thing that I kind of look at that I'm kind of worried about with North Carolina. Now, I think both teams are very similar when it comes to talent level. I still think Arkansas, if you just stacked up the roster and everything, I still think Arkansas is better. But the thing that got North Carolina turned around was essentially the same thing that got Arkansas a nice little turnaround just this past weekend. And it was the things that they'd been missing out on: consistent pitching and timely hitting. Like, Arkansas's defense, to me, is the best in the country. So we know it's going to be solid there. But can you rely on some guys to come in and get some great pitching down, especially out of the bullpen? Can you find ways with runners in scoring position to get them in? Arkansas did that this past weekend. So it was kind of the same thing. But I mean, it's incredible to see how this team has been able to turn it around. Like, I'm talking about North Carolina and just how good they are. And it seems like they got a lot of offense. They got some big time pop. I'm going to go see the stadium today. I haven't really had a chance to check it out to see if it's a ballpark that'll be a lot more favorable for some home runs. But so that's kind of what I think you gotta check out. There's a few guys that are going to be really good as far as the hitting goes. Vance Honeycutt is a true freshman that's really good this year. Alberto Osuna, I assume that's how you say his name. I hope he's the designated hitter. The dude can mash it. He's been killing. In fact, I think he was the one that hit the ball almost 500 feet regional this past weekend. So he's been killing it too, as far as the offense goes. And pitching wise, though, you got Will Sandy that'll probably start, the left-hander. He's been very impressive. But that's the thing, is like that. But all their pitching, again, just from what I've been reading, and how big of a baseball guy I am. It seems like they kind of are in a similar situation with Arkansas, where it's not like they're starting pitching and everything's just like elite, or where they're just shutting guys down right and left. They do it by committee, and they had a lot of guys that come in and help out. Whether Will Sandy doing the deal this time, maybe Gage Gillian, I think, is another one. Bryant Gaines, a few guys Bryant Gaines is the pitching coach, but he's done a good job of trying to get his guys into good positions and everything. So. We have to wait and see, because I think that you may see some offense in this game, in these games. You may see a lot of offense, though. So, and the other thing about North Carolina too, and I thought about this last weekend in their regional, they actually they were in the losers bracket. Like, they had to do what Oklahoma State did, only the difference was Oklahoma State actually did it. Like, Oklahoma, they had to go through the playing 4 games in 48 hours or whatever it was, and they ended up taking care of business and winning. So Is that going to play a factor in the fact that they played another game or something like that? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. Who cares? It's a whole different season right now. But the thing is that you got a lot of pieces here where you're going to be fine. Like, not like Arkansas is like so outmatched and outgunned. It's going to be a problem. But I don't know. I just feel like, and I hope that confidence booster that you had after that game on Monday night can be able to carry this team into this next part of it and try to make it work too. So, but we'll close up shop here on the podcast here in just a second. First, I got to tell you about Built Bar and how they continue to be awesome. Like here, when I've been traveling, it's been a night. Like I'm exhausted all the time. Like I still don't feel like I've caught up on my sleep. But it's amazing how Built Bar's been able to help me through whenever I'm on the go and it's busy. I brought them with me everywhere I've gone, just to give me that extra little boost of energy, something that's healthy too, and they taste great. I mean, you got to check them out. If you haven't done it, please do. I know that people are really big on protein bars and whatnot, going to the grocery stores and buying those and thinking that they're great, but you're missing out because you get the best of both worlds when it comes to Built Bar. You get something that tastes great and something that's convenient and something that's healthy. So I guess best of three worlds, I should have said. But either way, it's really great, and you have to try it out if you haven't. Check out all the delicious flavors that they have to choose from, and you can do so by heading over to built.com, enter in promo code LOCK15. You'll get 15% off your next order. It's as simple as that. Head to built.com, enter in promo code LOCK15 for 15% off with Built Bar.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so final segment here on the podcast because I got to start heading out to the practices and everything like that. Being out here in Chapel Hill has been pretty awesome, and I want to say this because I like to dog on a lot of teams and a lot of campuses and things like that. I kind of dogged on Oklahoma State over the weekend too. For those of you who listen to my show or to this podcast. But I haven't seen the fans. I haven't seen anything that's gone on with the baseball just yet, so I could change my mind. I reserve that right. But I drove around the campus here in Chapel Hill, and I want to give a shout out to North Carolina and Chapel Hill and the campus here. It's beautiful. Like it really is. It's one of those things that if I was a student in high school and I was looking for a place to go to college and I had no loyalties towards any school and I took a visit here, it would be really hard for me to say no. I mean, the campus is so awesome. Like the buildings are beautiful. It's got a bunch of trees. It's on a hill a little bit. It kind of reminds me of if like Arkansas was like bigger and more spread out because we know that Arkansas is kind of landlocked and everything. But imagine just that. Yeah, the campus is built and spread out. A lot more trees. Trees are everywhere. In fact, trees are kind of like hides the campus a little bit, which is really cool. And it's gorgeous. Like and I went down to Franklin Street and checked that out, which is kind of like their Dixon Street, I guess. And that was really good. That was really awesome. And so checking all those things out and seeing what I've seen so far, it's great job. Like it's so much better than Stillwater. And again, I'm not trying to hate on Stillwater. I'm just saying that this is a whole new animal. And I'm hoping that the crowds will be electric, which it looks like they're going to be. Tickets have been getting sold out the wazoo, so it looks like it's going to be that way. But the campus is great. So far, the fans have been really friendly. But it's also been weird because, again, maybe it changes. But when I went on Franklin Street last night, like there was few North Carolina fans that I saw or I talked to, and like none of them even cared about the baseball regional or super regional. So it's kind of a basketball school, I guess, if you want to call it that. But it's been wild. It's been great. The campus is awesome. I can't wait to see the stadium today. I wonder if it's was up to the FCC hype of being one of those like level type of stadiums. It very well could, but. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So huge shout out. This is awesome. I'm glad I was able to get here and to check it all out and to make it all happen. And who knows, maybe I'm the good luck charm because if they go to Omaha in the College World Series, guess what? I'm taking credit. Not that I will care anybody will listen to me, but I'm still going to try to take some credit too. So either way, appreciate everybody listening into the Locked On Razorback podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. We'll keep it going from the same podcast time, same podcast channel. Next Monday, hopefully talking about a College World Series appearance. Guess we'll have to wait and see and find out. We'll see you then.